NFL record for the worst completion percentage. This is a game you need to win. This is a divisional matchup against a team you should beat. This is how you stack up wins. Hello and welcome back to episode 27 of i75Live. We had another awesome week of sports, and it is Super Bowl week. So we are going to dive pretty deep into the Super Bowl.
Lots of fun stuff
to talk about.
Crazy, unexpected things.
To kind of start it off again, this has been a little theme the past couple weeks, just because it is kind of popular right now, is the TGL. We're not going to touch much on it. The only thing we are going to say is Rory McIlroy's comments on YouTube golf specifically,
and the PGA Tour.
When I saw this, to me, it reminded me a lot of, I know you were kind of out of it when the whole live thing happened.
Yeah.
But he was one of the main spokespersons for the whole, this is wrong.
Like splitting up
Live
golf.
They're just paying all this money. They're bribing, they're taking away all of our stars.
He said no to it and literally lost hundreds of millions of dollars by saying no.
Oh,
so
wow.
he stood on his principle.
He stood on,
he was loyal.
He stood on he was loyal to the PGA, and then it kind of all fell apart, and then he the PGA wasn't loyal to him, and whatever. So that all happened. So he came out and said something along the lines of, hey, I understand that YouTube golf is huge. I understand that it draws a big audience. I understand that, it's just part of the game now, part of what golf is. But if it was me, I would rather watch a professional golf event with pros than watching, that's kind of the gist of what he said. Still giving the flowers to, hey, I understand why people would watch this. But if it was me, I would watch the pro events.
Yeah, it didn't sound like he was overtly complaining, but it did come off a little bit salty,
whiny, babyish, you're mad that millions of people are
not paying attention
to you and kind of drawing their attention to something else.
What he's failing to realize is that YouTube golf is so much more relatable to the average golf player than watch. Yes, it's so much fun to watch pros do it, hit shots that you've never hit in your life. Of course. But it's also so much fun to watch a 60-second clip of someone shanking shit that I would shank. That I do shank.
Or, guys being, and I know this, I'll go into this with
and
the
humor,
TGL.
like personalities.
Exactly. Yeah. Personality, you fall, that you feel like you're one of them.
Yes.
And then you can buy certain merch, you could buy their, the Barstool clothes, the good stuff they've done I know you can buy like a Tiger Woods shirt or like a Rory hat. I know he has his own, but it's just a little bit more personal for me.
Yeah.
So this is why I also kind of think he was being really babyish and whining about it, because the next day,
I don't think he thought about
not the
it
next
from the
day,
other side
but he said this, won the tournament, good for you, awesome, you
Sunday,
killed it, you won Pebble Beach, great.
It's a hard course,
you won it.
Yeah.
And then the next day after you won, all of a sudden, Good, if you don't know who Good is, they're one of the biggest
YouTube golf
companies, companies on YouTube that started.
It started from zero.
Oh, it started from nothing, and they are now a part owner in one of the TGL teams, the California team.
Which Rory helped start.
So
I think someone in his corner kind of after those comments came up to him, he was like, take a second and reflect on that and look at it from the other side and how this could help the game instead of what you're talking about.
Well, and it's like if you truly believed that, your comments of I would rather watch the pros play, then why are you now
contradicting
yourself and including a group that's on YouTube. In your brand new TGL league?
These guys don't, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't compete in tournaments like PGA
They don't compete in PGA tournaments, but they do stuff with PGA guys. They play all the same courses, and that's what makes it fun, because you have normal guys who love playing golf, playing the courses that the pros play.
Well, listen, I mean, you guys know that a few weeks ago, I had no idea what good golf was.
Yeah.
And, I think they're looking at, Rory is one of the founders. He knows that there's no such thing as bad publicity. So by talking about this, by the way it happened, who knows, maybe he said it on purpose.
Maybe.
But also, these guys think about it. When you're a professional golfer and that's all you do, you get pretty egocentric, and you think that that's all people
do. Tunnel vision.
Any professional athlete has to be. Yeah. Especially the best.
Well, and another thing too, Good is actually putting on an event at the Waste, because the Waste Management Open is this week. If you like golf, it's
strange
tonight.
Name for open.
No, it's actually, you know, the holes where if someone gets a hole in one, I know you're really new to golf.
I am.
Kind of explaining this to you.
Explain this to me like
so
I'm one of our audience members that doesn't.
Dylan's very new to golf. I've been around it for a long time. I know Vanny, one of our guests. This is who we kind of have our golf conversations. So the waste management tournament is, you know, the hole to where if someone hits a hole in one, everyone throws beer cans.
Yeah, yes.
That is this tournament.
Oh,
so everyone, this is, and it's in Arizona. It's in Scottsdale, Arizona, every year. Same course, same whatever. So everyone is excited for this, and everyone goes to this for that sole reason of if someone hits a hole in one, everyone goes nuts.
That's funny.
It's like a Happy.
When's the last time?
It's like a Happy Gilmore type hole. Yes.
When's the last time it happened?
Last year.
It happened last year.
Yeah, it happened last year. Someone got a hole in one, and then one year, I think a couple years ago, one of the guys hit a hole in one. He took his shirt off and was running around like while everyone was chucking beers. So it's
awesome. Though, people will boo him.
Yeah, if you hit
golf
a bad
needs
shot,
more of that shit.
So it's like the happy.
Question. Why don't they do that on every course? Why isn't that golf?
I think the same
reason.
I'm serious. Rory said
at least one hole.
It's the same reason what Rory said what he said.
That's not golf.
Yes,
that's not what people
which I agree with.
Want to see every week.
I do agree with. But this is the Happy Gilmore tournament of golf once a year. Waste management.
PGA Tour having a Happy Gilmore hole.
It is pretty cool.
Waste management, garbage. Yeah, who knows? Maybe there's a connection.
Yeah. So, but to wrap up the whole Rory thing, I just think it's a little funny that you come out and say these things, kind of like a backhanded compliment of, I respect what they do, but
you're taking away from
you're not
my
pros,
spotlight.
You're taking away from my spotlight. And then hold on, the new golf league that I made, because if I wouldn't make it if I knew that the professional PGA golf was almighty and no one's gonna watch it, why would I make something new? And then to include all these people that millions of people are watching on YouTube every day. To me, it's just a little.
You might have a point, Chris, that he might have said that on purpose.
He could have.
to kind of jumpstart the conversation before adding good golf.
Yes.
As part of it.
Yes, he could have.
That's 100%
but yes,
plausible.
that was Rory McIlroy's comments. TGL, like always, and that's what I have to say about that.
Next week, it's going good.
Next week though, there's actually Chris pointed this out, isn't it? There's like back to back to back to back.
What?
There's one day
it's Monday.
next week. I believe Monday.
Because Monday is President's Day.
Yeah.
It's the day that should be after the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So it's
will
Monday
be soon
after the
once
Super
they
Bowl.
add the new game.
They should move it back a week, and then that way it becomes a holiday. But there are back to back to back events that day. So that's going to be
because it's on President's Day. So there's one at like 1, 3, 5, and like 9. Like it's all day. So that'll be fun. Okay. And that's on President's Day.
Cool.
So trade summaries or NBA trade madness.
We haven't talked much about the NBA, but
because it's been a little lackluster.
This whole weekend is because the trade deadline's coming up and teams are starting to lock in a little bit. Superstars are actually starting to play games now. We'll get into that later, but this happened. This was Saturday night, Friday night, something like that. At midnight. This was in the middle of the fucking night.
Everybody thought it was fake.
I
thought it was fake. I called y'all. I was like, damn, they got y'all again, because it was like throughout the day, there were like 2 or 3 NBA Send Tell, which is like the meme version of the NBA news reporters sending out fake shit. And then you sent that one, and I was like, all right, well, that one was pretty obvious. I don't know why you guys are believing that. And then I got a notification from Underdog. And then ESPN tweeted it out that Luka Doncic has been traded to the Lakers at fucking midnight. Yeah, it was like 9 p.m. in California. But for Anthony Davis, like that.
And some
what the
and
hell?
Stuff like that.
But the main 2 pieces, Luka and Anthony Davis. That's fucking crazy. I mean, a lot of opinions on that and how it happened. And apparently the Lakers were the only one allowed to bid on Luka. Dallas called up LA specifically.
Every team in
2
the
weeks
league
ago
would have wanted a shot at him.
Everybody.
Well,
but
who
else could give Dallas what they wanted? Because at least from my looking at the trade, don't sleep on Dallas after this. Because Dallas made a good trade. They still have a primary ball handler in Kyrie. That's not an issue. They still have shooters. They've got tons of rim protection now. They didn't have to give up any of their young guys like Lively or Gafford. Those guys are still there that were on the team that made the finals last year. And now you've got probably the best rim protector in the league in Anthony Davis, if he can stay healthy. Yes, he's 31, so you limited your championship window a little bit, but that team's built to win now, and the Lakers are built to win for the next 10 to 15 fucking years.
Okay, so
good trade
what
on
is
both ends,
going
in my
on with
opinion.
LA teams buying championships? I mean, first baseball,
LA.
now basketball. I mean, don't tell me that LeBron didn't know about this trade. He's the worst actor on the planet, or didn't know.
Yeah.
He is known
LeBron,
for
because if he didn't like it, he did like it because he's getting Luka. Luka is a 5-time first team
He's
All
a top
NBA,
3 scorer in the
top
NBA.
3 scorer. So
25 years old.
So why
in his
would you
prime.
not like it, regardless of how good of a relationship you had with Anthony Davis? But at the end of the day, you're LeBron James. You're the Michael Jordan of this era. There's no way in God's green earth that he did not know about this trade or have some
he gets
type
his coaches fired. I mean, come on.
There's just no way. He had no clue.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Because before we started the episode, I believed him, but I mean, looking back on it, LeBron does have a tendency to lie about things like this.
And he deserves to kind of know, too.
He does.
He's LeBron.
Absolutely.
He's the Jordan of this era of basketball.
He only has like 2
but he
more
needs
years
a couple
max.
more championships if he truly wants to put himself in that class.
This trade right here.
That's what he's trying to do here.
Well, this trade right here made it possible. And
Luka's, it's not like they traded for a 32-year-old.
No. I don't think
was
done.
really, really good. Like he's in his 20s.
He's in his prime.
He's a 5-time, like I said, straight first team All NBA.
Last year he almost averaged a 35-point triple-double for the year.
Yeah.
And now he's oh my God. The more I think about this,
I was listening to some of the pundits on the radio, and they were like, "Look, there's teams that would have given 3 first-rounders for this.
Oh, guaranteed.
Guy.
Yeah.
Why did they only go to one team? Why did no other team know about this?
I just have to think they wanted. I just have to think they wanted to pair Kyrie and Anthony Davis together because that's a great pair. That's incredible. And then with like I said, the pieces that they already have around, and they traded for Caleb Martin from Philly like a day after they made this, which is Caleb Martin is a great rotational guy, good 3-point shooter. He was on the Miami team that made the finals, those 2 years. And so really both teams, good trade, but the Lakers obviously, it's going to go down as they fleeced because Luka's going to be playing like 15 more years.
Yeah.
And well, maybe not 15. I mean, but that's not out of the
Anthony
he'd be
Davis
40.
is older. And,
yeah, he's like 32.
Yeah. And he's very injury prone. I know Luka kind of has been too.
He has been injury prone, but last year he played like 74 games, and this year he just got hurt. He was healthy like all year before this.
Yeah.
So he's been turning that around, kind of killing that narrative in that kind of point. But to move on to other trades, because this was just the first. After this happened, it's like the league blew up. The Bulls finally made a trade. First time in 3 years we've made a trade. Zach LaVine gets traded to the Kings, and then De'Aaron Fox gets moved to the Spurs, which I don't know if you're familiar with De'Aaron Fox, but him and Wemby.
Oh, yeah.
Fox is a lefty. I saw someone make this point in a comment section that they're never going to be rolling the same way. Wemby's going to be going to the right side, the left side, and Fox is a lefty that goes right on every pick and roll. So just the lob opportunities, just the plays in general. And they didn't have to give up Chris Paul. He's still there. The Spurs are fucking nasty. It's basketball. I might actually start watching the NBA again, like after all these trades. Just to see how it turns out. I mean, the playoffs are entertaining. We all know that. But
everyone will tune in for the playoffs.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we saw this right before we came in too. The Bucks just traded Chris Middleton.
Yeah, this literally,
literally just happened. And so the league, just shockwave was sent once Luka got traded. But the last point I'll bring up about it is just in general with the NBA. It's objectively hilarious that once Luka got traded, almost every big NBA player that was deemed untouchable, Paul George, I guess not really untouchable, but Embiid, everyone that was hurt is now healthy. Like I saw Underdog was just bang, 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 ready to play, ready to play, ready to play. And Embiid actually made a joke about it. They asked him about it, I think like last night or the night before. They just beat the Knicks. And he was like, a reporter asked him why, he thought he found his rhythm so early. And he was like, I was scared to get traded.
Really?
I swear to God, he said that.
Oh, well.
They're also even talking about, too, what's really funny is, I know the WNBA, big deal, right? Well, it actually started to be more of a big deal here in the United States, whereas NBA is an international sport, really an international league. But now that, I mean, the WNBA has made some really big moves as of late.
I think they'll continue to make some strides.
Kind of. So they needed some of this to happen to get the attention.
Still have never profited in the 20+ years.
I think that's
going to
change eventually, though. Hopefully that will change.
If it wasn't for the NBA, the WNBA would.
Oh,
what is it?
The NBA subsidizes the WNBA.
Yes, the NBA pays for everything
everything.
They literally have never, ever profited in the 20+ years that WNBA is their thing.
There might be one team though that's profiting, and I actually have an insider there. Where Caitlin Kirk plays.
The Indiana
works
Fever?
in the ticketing office. And
oh, really?
They sell out every single
I bet they do. They're probably the only profitable franchise in that league right now.
And every game when she's on the road, they're all sold out. In fact, when you look at some of the ticket prices that people are paying to see Caitlin Clark play, on a normal night, a ticket might be $40.
I almost went to watch her when she played in Atlanta.
Like $600.
We should go next year.
I almost went to watch her when she was in Atlanta last year.
We should do it.
We should.
Tickets are like $20.
Like,
I think we need a i75.
It's just kind of in a bad. Yeah, well, maybe
they do it in the Hawks Arena, right?
No.
Where do they play?
It's somewhere else. It's
the Atlanta Dream.
It's not in the Hawks Arena.
Yeah, I think the Dream plays in.
No.
Yeah.
Look it up right
State
now.
Farm
I
Arena?
guarantee you it's not.
I'm gonna look it up.
To wrap up kind of the trades, I know we're kind of going into the NFL now.
More trades.
Myles Garrett requested trades from the Browns. He said in his statement, "I want to win a Super Bowl. I want to win a championship. I love the Browns. I love everything they've done for me." He has a lot of. I mean, they have no idea what they're doing at quarterback. They're in cap hell right now.
They're rebuilding.
So it makes sense to why a guy like him is going. All these great years I've had. Yeah. I want to play for a championship.
He's been in the league 8 years already.
Yeah,
he's not young. So yeah, I 100% agree. And this is, I think either his camp came out with it. I don't think he said it himself, but this is not a tactic to get a bigger deal from the Browns. He does not want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
He wants to win. And so, I mean, just go down the list of teams that make the most sense, but Vegas gave the best odds.
There's one team on here that I don't see that if I was them, I would throw.
What's the team?
Everything. You can read out the teams, and then I'll say my team.
So right now, the Commanders have the best odds to land him, which I think makes a shit ton of sense.
Yeah.
So way too much sense.
Young quarterback, look what they did. That's very attractive to Myles Garrett.
I really think that it may end up being the Commanders regardless, but just to have fun with it, the Raiders also have some good odds. That makes a little less sense. Yeah. Really not at all. The Lions, I don't really...
I could see the Lions.
I could, maybe, yes. But
Myles Garrett and
Hutchinson. It could be nasty. Oof. I don't know how their cap's looking, though, because Myles Garrett is on a very
here's my other
large
question
contract.
that I asked you, and I asked in our group. If he truly wants to win a Super Bowl, then to me, is that, hey, I want to win a Super Bowl, I want to go to a team, and that's my goal? Or, hey, I want a good team, but I also want a shit ton of money because I'm Myles Garrett?
Yeah.
So what do you think in his brain of yeah, I've made my money. I've been in the league 8 years. I've done all this stuff. Now I want to win. So even if I go to a team where I'm not making probably as much money as I should be, I want to win because I want to be on a winning team.
If he's sincere about that, then he's going to get traded to the Eagles. That's my thought on it.
So
100%.
So the other one that I would also say is if I was the Falcons.
Oh yeah.
I would throw everything at that guy. You also have Kirk Cousins to trade
to the Browns
because the Browns
need a bridge quarterback. So now that Deshaun Watson is,
there's also some crap that came up with Kirk Cousins that we could talk about a little later.
Yes,
but if I was the Falcons, I would throw everything I possibly could. But again, I do think he wants to go to the Falcons and views them as a Super Bowl championship contending team.
Well, it is Atlanta, so I don't know that you can say Super Bowl and Atlanta.
But I'm just letting you know that that's what he said.
Yeah.
So yes, do the Falcons make sense? Yes, do they need a pass rusher? Yes, if that's what they've been missing on defense this whole time for the past 5 years.
I feel like it's more realistic for the Falcons to go after a guy like Khalil Mack. Yeah. He'll be a lot less money. I don't know.
You might get maybe 2 years out of him.
Rushers though this year in the draft.
That too.
I think they're going to be able to get a couple good ones in the draft.
Well, we said that last year, and then the guy that we told them they should have picked is now probably going to be the defensive rookie of the year. So,
well, they did pick Michael Penix though. So
yeah. Well, Michael Penix was the security blanket.
I like Penix a lot. Yeah. But So, I mean, the other teams, I mean, Dawson, how would you feel about the Patriots going after him?
I mean, I think it'd be cool.
And then drafting the Arizona receiver at 4.
It'd be cool, but I don't think he views us as a championship caliber team right now.
Not
with
yet.
a rookie quarterback, a new head coach.
Yeah.
Like you said, I think the Eagles, if he's looking at all these teams, if he truly does not care who he goes to.
Or the Chiefs.
The Eagles or the Chiefs.
I don't think the Browns trade him.
Or Washington. Washington's a really good one.
I think Washington
would be cool.
I mean, the Bears and Packers are listed up here. I think the Packers, realistically, those two teams right there, I think, are in the running for Khalil Mack. I don't think that either team, for one, the Bears have made this mistake before. This is exactly what we did with the Khalil Mack trade. Literally, like, to the T, this is exactly what happened. We had a young QB, second-year head coach, a roster that you think is almost complete and just needs a couple more pieces. So why not compensate and bring one big piece that can make your defense whole? And doesn't matter how many picks we give up, because that fucked us over for a while. It also put us in cap hell. It strapped us for money for the next like 3 or 4 years and sent us into a rebuild because we never won a Super Bowl with him. Yeah. And then we had to trade him anyways. Yeah. So as much as I would love Myles Garrett, I have thought about it. It makes 0 sense for the Bears.
That's kind of where I'm at too. As much as I would love it, as cool as it would be, because everyone loves all these big names.
Those big trades rarely work out. Yeah. They rarely do. Yet they cause a ton of buzz when they happen, but
of course, because it's big name players,
almost never fucking works out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
It like 2 times out of 10 does it. Yeah. It's
well, the next one, the other big name that is out there,
I know you want.
I see, but we talked about it yesterday. Cooper Kupp. The Rams came out and said, "Hey, we're going to be trading you
sooner rather than later."
But we're not just going to ship you off to nowhere. Like we're going to communicate with you. We're going to get you somewhere, and you get to pick. So,
but this is going to happen in the next few weeks.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised. But some of these teams, like the Steelers, the Bengals, the Commanders, to go on to my Patriots, would I love it? Yes, I love Cooper Kupp. It makes a
lot of sense.
He's been amazing. I know everyone will
joke,
"Hey,
healthy?
The Patriots get another white receiver." Yeah, that'd be cool.
Another Edelman.
They've got another.
I think he's destined to be a Tennessee Titan. Old aging receiver that's won a ring, done everything already.
Well,
people are
another one that you mentioned again is the Commanders.
The Commanders.
The Commanders with Terry playing the outside, because I don't know if Terry plays a ton in the slot. Maybe he did just because he kind of had to. But you put Cooper on that team. Let Terry run the outside. Cooper motioning back and forth like he did on the Rams on the inside, help with the run game. That would be a scary little duo right there as well.
2 teams that have pretty high odds to land him, and I think also one makes a little less sense than the other, but the Chargers and the Broncos.
Yeah.
Chargers make less sense because you have Ladd McConkey, but the Broncos could be a sleeper team.
I agree.
Absolutely could be a sleeper team. AFC team. Rams are not going to give a shit trading him over to the AFC.
Yeah.
They just made the playoffs. They're young as hell. Sean Payton is going to scheme him open.
Yeah.
He's going to,
I agree.
Unless he, stays hurt.
I agree.
His back half of the year, fucking terrible. Yeah. Like he was bad.
Well, and I just think too, like this is another one of those players that he's going to want to go to a team that has a chance of winning now. And I just don't know if the Patriots are that team right now. So
not yet. No, but the Patriots have every resource available to them to turn it around in a year.
This is very true.
And they have the coach.
Kind of the same way the Commanders did, where you never know. We could maybe be the Commanders of next year.
Exactly.
With our coach, with our now second-year quarterback, get some good pieces in there. It's just, at 32 years old, injury prone.
He realistically...
I love Cooper. He's got a big name.
Yeah.
He's always been one of my favorites. I just don't know if it makes the most sense.
I can't believe he's already 32.
I
know. Time flies.
We're getting old.
Time flies.
We're getting old.
So...
This was a hot topic.
This was a very. I'm still getting comments on my phone right now as we speak.
Yep. Yeah, I actually just saw another one pop up.
Shouldn't. What is this? Feels gross to argue with a Bears fan.
Agree with a Bears fan.
Shouldn't be allowed because you don't want it. So we're talking about the Tush Push,
which, by the way, has a completely different name because it's not a fucking QB sneak, guys.
So
it's literally not a QB sneak. So stop calling it that.
So
it's not.
What I've noticed in this trend of the Tush Push universe and realm and world of the play is it is the Eagles fans coping to themselves
it's a QB sneak.
That it's a QB sneak.
It is not.
And then once you kind of describe to them that it's not a QB sneak and they know it's not a QB sneak, they're just coping with themselves.
They switch to rugby.
They switch to rugby and say, well, it's whatever. And then they switch to, well, what about when the running back's 15 yards down the field and the lineman comes and pushes them?
The goalposts are going all over the field with this argument.
So to my argument to that, to kind of counteract, for one, it's not a QB sneak. No. It's you have 3+ teammates behind you.
You
in a
literally
victory
line up in victory formation.
And
yes.
push the quarterback as soon as he gets the ball. AKA why it was nicknamed the fucking Tush Push. It's not the QB sneak. It was nicknamed the Tush Push because the quarterback gets the ball and you fucking push his ass down the field for however many yards you need.
That's speaking of which, we had someone call it the ass blast. That is the new name for the Tush Push.
That was really funny.
The ass blast.
That one had me rolling.
Oh, it's amazing.
So there's one thing. And it's a designed play.
Yes.
You know that when a running back is down the field and a lineman comes and pushes him for an extra 2-3 yards, that is not designed.
Nope.
So that is allowed. And again, I have it written down. Rule. What is the number? Hold on.
It's 12-1-4.
12-1-4. A player, a offensive player will get a penalty if you pull the ball carrier for more yards. Please, someone tried to tell me that it was two opposite motions of physical, and he was like a fucking physics major where I was like, dude.
It's an inverse action. It does the same thing.
It does the same thing.
Yes.
You are pulling, if you get a penalty for pulling a player forward,
not be able to push a
you
player.
should get a penalty for deliberately pushing a player forward. Not the running backs down the field and you push him for an extra 2 yards.
100%.
That's not deliberate. That's my argument to it.
I would argue that pushing and pulling is actually two different things because you can pull a chain.
They're both acts.
Technically, yes, it is two separate things.
They're both acts of force to move something forward.
Yeah, it is the same principle of pulling something and pushing something to move an object.
Yes, and with the whole argument, because it got brought up so many times, like bringing up rugby as an example. First off, why the fuck are we comparing football to rugby? But
100%.
that, honestly, thank you guys for comparing it to rugby, because we found out a few days ago that rugby has this fucking play banned. It's banned in rugby.
You get a penalty for it.
Literally.
If I wanted to watch rugby,
can't make this up.
I'm turning it on to ESPN the Ocho. I mean, seriously, dodgeball, rugby. Come on, this is football.
But like,
what are we doing?
Dead ass, I am not lying that it is illegal in rugby. You get a penalty called illegal pushing if you push someone over. It's not, someone tried to compare it to a rugby scrum. A scrum is when both teams start with the ball and they push against each other.
To see who wins the ball.
It's illegal when you're on the goal line to push someone over it. So
and score.
It would be so easy for the NFL to ban it. You guys are making it so complicated and trying to bring up all of these examples when really it's simple. Ban the formation, like victory formation. You can't have 3 guys lining up on the quarterback. And especially you can't have guys from the snap pushing to gain, a yard over the first down marker or over the goal line.
Yes.
It's so easy to regulate.
That is the argument. Is we're not, you want to get rid of the QB sneak, you can't get rid of the QB sneak. No, it is not getting rid of the QB sneak.
My argument is Hurts can 9 times out of 10, Hurts is going to get the QB sneak anyways. The Eagles have one of the strongest O-lines in the league, Hurts squats damn near 700 pounds. Like, you don't need this play.
It has nothing to do with banning the QB sneak because we think it's overpowered. It has everything to do with it being nicknamed the Tush Push for a reason.
It's literally different.
It will be banned.
I think it will.
I hope one more week, guys. Don't worry. As soon as
it'll
Super
get
Bowl
banned.
And the other thing too
Eagles
is
win with a tush push and they beat the Chiefs and they knock them out of their three-peat. It's over. They're going to ban it.
The other funny part is it's so obvious to tell like who you're either that clip. It was kind of like it was very sarcastic for one.
That clip, please watch the full episode. That whole thing is satire. It's meant to be a joke, but obviously I want it to happen because it would be 1, hilarious, and 2, the play would get banned.
It would be hilarious.
The play would get banned.
And the moral of the story about all this is because it's your team, you don't have a problem with it.
If the Chiefs were doing it.
And we can say that about us too, because it's not our team.
Absolutely.
If I was an Eagles fan, I'd defend that play till the day I died, knowing probably in the back of my head that this is some serious bullshit that we're getting away with for the past couple of years. But we're gonna run it till they stop.
It's a miracle they haven't won a ring with it yet.
Do you remember?
No. Someone in our before you do that, someone in our comment section actually mentioned that the first time they played in the Super Bowl, I think they went 5 for 5. on whether they were on the goal line or short yard distance with the tush push, getting the first down, getting a touchdown or whatever.
I'm not surprised.
So
and what the holding penalty that ended up.
Yeah, that too.
So the thing though about the whole tush push and this kind of football and doing this,
it's not football.
Really, it's really rugby. It reminds me, you remember youth football, Dawson, when first couple of years you played, I don't know, you're 7, 8, 9
it's called the wedge.
They ran the wedge.
The wedge.
Right? Nobody liked the wedge.
No one liked it because it
wasn't real football.
It didn't teach you anything about football.
Remember what they did, right? You remember they would literally line the kids up. Yeah. They would form a wedge. They'd put the ball in the middle and then just run down the field as a wedge, exactly what the teacher
it taught nothing.
Like a flock of birds.
Yes. We taught the kids to do like a bear tackle, so they'd like lay down so everybody would trip on them. But you couldn't stop it. It was so stupid.
It wasn't football.
It wasn't football. You weren't teaching these kids anything.
And someone actually also commented and said that too, where it was like, hey, we learn a lot of things when we're younger. That doesn't mean that it translates to the NFL, because someone said something like, well, the QB sneak is taught from a young age, and he said just because it's taught and just because certain things are taught at certain levels of football doesn't mean that it has to go to the highest level of football.
No.
So there were a lot of great conversations, and it was about 80% people going, yeah. And then the other 20% were the Eagles fans coping themselves that, no, it's a QB. You just want to get rid. No.
Yeah, remember in Pee Wee football, so you didn't return punts in Pee Wee football. You didn't return punts. And I remember there was this one play where a guy kicked the ball. Dawson was the punt returner. Everybody said, get away from it, get away from it. And Dawson looks around. Nobody's near the ball. He goes and picks it up and runs it 80 yards for a touchdown. And it was hilarious. But see, do we do that in pros?
It's happened.
Well, it's the same thing with like triple option offenses and like wishbone and wing T. That hasn't been in the league in like 30 years.
And there's a reason for that. And there's also a reason why coaches who still are doing that in college football are no longer coaches.
For the most part. Yeah.
For the most part.
That's right. Look at all those triple option teams that it just, I mean.
Georgia Tech doesn't do it anymore,
yeah, now they run the
spread.
Now they run the spread.
Georgia
and look at Georgia Tech now.
Yep.
They were able to beat some pretty good teams this year, upset Miami.
Yeah.
So
with a real
took a couple years because they had to get some new offensive linemen. You had to get a coach. You had to get some players.
I will say, so on the other side of this, because for all the shit that we give Chiefs fans for like attacking us for the whole like they'll change the rule because of the Chiefs.
No.
Yes. I will say they have a point. Like actually, yes, they started the conversation.
Yes.
For like the whole when they lost in overtime to the Patriots. They suggested the rule, but it didn't get changed.
Yes.
And it got changed after the fact when it happened to the Bills the following year.
Yes.
They actually have a pretty good point about that because it's about to I saw a comment before we came in about how the first downs might be electronic, and it's probably because of what happened to the Bills. Like I hate to agree with Chiefs fans, but they
no. I
yes.
agree with them. I agree with them 100%.
The Bills,
but don't. The argument though was don't sit here and tell me that you weren't complaining about the overtime rules when Tom Brady did it to you, and then you did it to Josh Allen, and you had no problem with it because you won the game.
I will. Yes, it's
that is what I'm saying.
Don't act like it doesn't benefit you, and don't act like y'all haven't.
Because the way that game was going, for all we know, Josh could have taken the ball easily and scored another touchdown, and then it was a back and forth, and it was like, who the hell knows? Yep. But you got lucky that you got the ball first, the same way the Patriots did when they beat you. You got the ball first, you scored, game was over, didn't give. So don't kid yourself. You guys started the conversation.
You definitely
the Bills finished it, and that's not the argument. I'm acknowledging that.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to acknowledge that the Bills finished it, you need to acknowledge that your team was pissed off and started the conversation because it happened to you.
They were the first ones to propose the rule.
The biasness with some of these fans is just amazing to me that they cannot see it both ways. They only see it one way.
Sports fanatics.
Only see it for their
well,
team.
You know, that's what makes sports awesome, I think, because we have people who will literally die
on a hill for
their quarterback, their team. It makes zero sense.
Yep.
But that's what makes it so special. That's what keeps us all coming back.
We're
for
delusional
more.
Together.
It really is. It really is. And there's a stat that we'll bring up when we go into the Super Bowl that something's going to have to give, something's going to have to break.
Oh, yes.
But it makes me kind of laugh to some of the comments that people say on that stuff.
So
last thing.
Let's move on to the Kirk Cousins.
Cousins. It just happened yesterday.
Yeah, you told me about this.
It was an interview on Good Morning Football on NFL Network. He came out and said, they asked him, because everyone's been asking him all year, hey, were you hurt? Are you hurt? Is it something else happened? No, I'm fine. I'm just, playing bad, I'll figure it out, the whole year of Kirk Cousins when he went through that downhill throwing 8 interceptions and no touchdowns.
Yep.
Yesterday morning, NFL Network. Yeah, I was hurt. I hurt my shoulder against the Saints, and then I hurt my ankle the week after that, and that's kind of, but so I was kind of hurt, and I was dealing with stuff. So why didn't you say that? So my question to you, my question to myself is, who's responsible for this? Are the coaches responsible for this? Is the GM responsible for this? Who's responsible for because you beat the Saints, and you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You beat Carolina at the end of the year, you're in the playoffs. Now, I know Penix started against Carolina, and that was a different story when it came to their defense letting Carolina put up
34.
Whatever it was. But if he was truly hurt, for one, why was he not on the injury report? That's a huge no-no in the NFL, to where even if you stub your pinky, you have to be on the report.
More than we.
You're probably right. You're probably right. But to me, this is now Kirk Cousins saving his ass and going, oh, okay, well, I obviously still want to play football. The Falcons have kind of moved on from me. I need another team.
Yep.
So, yeah, I was hurt, and that's the reason why I played the way I did.
We're never going to hear, though, that it was actually hidden by the team, because that affects all the prize picks. That affects
betting as a whole. That's why you have to. Broken. That's why you have to put, even if you stub your pinky, you have to. Hey, Patrick Mahomes is dealing with a pinky injury. You have to.
I don't know whose fault it would be, really. Because it's on, Kirk can also, he could have been the one telling them that he's not hurt.
Well, he had to have been.
So that, and then, that relieves blame.
Know.
Yeah.
It's a messy situation.
I feel like it's gotta, shared blame between the organization and the player, because I'm sure they did x-rays, and Kirk was like, I feel fine. And the doctors took his word for it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the only way I see this being how it played out like this, similar to maybe what happened to Jordan Love earlier this year when he got hurt with his MCL at the start of the year, came back after a fucking week, which you're not supposed to come back for a month. And I mean, he ended up playing like dog shit for.
People knew he was hurt, though. The things that he started doing on the field made no sense.
Yeah, but that's my point. They still let him play. So they knew he was hurt. He said he was fine. It's got to be shared blame. It has to be. I don't know what team's going to take Kirk.
It's a mess. It's a messy situation to where it's just it seems a little bit like you can't go back and go, yeah, I was hurt after weeks saying, no, I'm good. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm going through a rut right now.
Screaming for Penix to start for those last 3 weeks.
Yeah, if I was a Falcons fan, I would be pissed.
I'd be pissed if I was a Falcons fan.
Yeah.
For the sole reason that this guy was hurt for the games that he lost that we could have won with Penix and gone to the playoffs.
3 games with him in that stretch?
I think it was, 3 or 4, somewhere in that realm. To where you win at least one of those, you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because you had all the tiebreakers. You had everything.
Beat the Bucks twice.
Yep.
Still wasn't enough.
So Kirk Cousins, a little messy. That situation. That happened yesterday.
Yeah.
NFL awards, before we get into the Super Bowl, just to ream them off a little bit.
Got our little predictions.
I know it's kind of probably very self-explanatory. The finalists are out with some of this stuff.
Really, outside of MVP, every award, and this goes back to my conversation last week. Why do we not have position awards? Because this is fucking stupid. But let's get into it.
So for MVP, I'm going to say who I think's going to win, and I'm going to say who I want to win, or who I think they voted for, and who I would vote for. I think Lamar's going to win. I think Josh Allen should win.
Yep.
Lamar, the NFL loves him. He had an amazing regular season. Couldn't do it in the playoffs again. That's why I think they're going to vote for him, just because of all the rushing yards, all the passing yards, all the touchdowns, the interception ratio. Had a hell of a regular season, which is what this award is a regular season award.
Yep.
I still think, though, Josh Allen did more with less. I think he took a roster, a really depleted receiver room.
They traded everybody.
They traded everyone on defense. They still figured it out. Josh Allen was able to play Superman. I would go with Josh Allen. I think Lamar's going to win it, though.
Probably. I think it's hard to pick against Lamar because, like you said, the regular season he had, and I don't think people have voter fatigue with Lamar Jackson. He does way too much on the field and for that team. But like you said, Josh Allen did more with less. Josh Allen deserves this award. They beat the Chiefs this year.
They also were the higher seed in the AFC playoffs.
So he has to win it, but I hope he does. Do I think he will? Not necessarily, but he's been my pick for a while now. Yeah. I think he has been incredible. He's been Superman. But
I would agree. Offensive Player of the Year. This one, like you kind of meant, there's one of these players.
We're comparing a generational receiver to a running back, guys, and only one of these players is going to get recognized.
It does suck. I put Jamar just because he was a Triple Crown winner.
Yep.
And had one of the best years we've ever seen from a wide receiver.
Yep.
I don't think he's going to win it, though. I think Saquon will win this. Just because of what Saquon... I mean, it's like 1A, 1B with these two guys this year.
By choice, he did not break Eric Dickerson's rushing record. By choice.
Yeah.
He would have broken it. Against the team
his former
that
team.
did not sign him.
Yeah.
But yes.
That says so much about him, too, that he didn't play that
He's
game.
one of the only players on the Eagles that I want to win a ring.
But look, I mean, I think it kind of worked out. Like, now he's in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh, like if you would have told him, hey, you either get to break this record, you don't make the Super Bowl, or you sit out and we focus on the Super Bowl, the playoff run, and we make the Super Bowl. I think he would have picked the Super Bowl every time.
100%.
And that's what he did.
Yep.
Yeah. He wants that ring.
He wants the ring. So yeah, I would say I would love to see Jamar win it just because of the season he had.
I think Saquon
I think is going to win this.
Just team success kind of plays a part in it a little bit. So with that added, and I mean, Saquon I think he's 30 yards away. If he gets 30 rushing yards in the Super Bowl, he will have beaten Terrell Davis's all-time playoffs, or all-time regular season plus playoffs, I think, rushing yards record. And then I think he already has more touchdowns than he did that year. It was like in the 90s with Elway, I'm pretty sure. Broncos Super Bowl. But yeah, Saquon wins it. And then Defensive Player of the Year. Realistically, there's only one person that can. Well, I would say Zach Bond probably is second, but Patrick Surtain is gonna win the award, I think.
Yeah, he had a really good year on a team that
corners don't win it very often.
Yeah, no one expected. I think the last one maybe Stephon Gilmore.
It's 2019.
Yeah, 2019 for the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. And before that, maybe Revis or Sherman, I think.
Did they give it to Gilmore before what he did to the
That was the 2019 Rams Super Bowl.
Rams Super Bowl. So yes, he would have been the defense.
He'd already gotten the award before that play happened?
Yeah.
Wow. Because you said it's voted before the playoffs.
Well, it was after he made the play against. Was that the year? Never mind. That was the year before. Ignore that. I was talking about the Jaguars batted down pass that he had.
No, that sent him to the Super Bowl. That was the
year before, though.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Yep, because that's the year we lost to the Eagles.
So many Super Bowls. Must be nice to get them all confused.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain.
The Rookies of the Year, also very easy. No-brainer, and it fucking shouldn't be. Like I said, Rookies of the Year, Players of the Year, Brock Bowers.
Yeah,
what the hell, dude?
It does suck.
Malik Neighbors. There's so...
It does suck. But
this
Jaden
award
Daniels,
system sucks.
Jaden Daniels had a hell of a year, though.
Oh, he's by far the Rookie of the Year.
Taking his team to the NFC Championship game with a new head coach, with a...
Argument.
Nobody really knew who was on that defense to start the year. He outperformed every expectation, I think. So Jaden Daniels is deserving of this. To go, like you said, though, there are some guys to where it's like, damn.
Should be recognized. More than just being on an all-rookie team that nobody remembers.
Yes.
You get recognized for like a week. Congrats.
To go to the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jared Verse.
No-brainer.
He had the most pressures out of any rookie.
He was top 5 in pressures around the league.
This was a guy who I think, Sean, we mentioned it. I was a huge advocate for the Rams all year. They drafted this guy. I told you Sean McVay was going to reload with a lot of talent. Everyone, they're losing Aaron Donald. No one can replace Aaron Donald. But they replaced Aaron Donald with 2 really, really good
and
defensive
both of them
ends
were in the running.
Yes.
Ironically, teammates at FSU, both in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year, him and Braden Fisk.
Yes.
Sean McVay does it again.
Sean McVay is a masterclass of a drafter.
He is.
So, Jared Verse, he deserves this. He deserves this. Coach of the Year.
I feel like this one's... It actually could be a few.
It was between a couple.
Dan Quinn, Kevin O'Connell, and Andy Reid.
I'd say, Andy Reid, and then maybe I'd throw in Dan Campbell. Just because...
Yeah, he can be up for it every year. I think it's Kevin O'Connell, though.
I do, too. I think Kevin O'Connell, what he did with Darnold.
Everybody counted out the Vikings.
Yeah, that defense came out of nowhere.
Look what he did.
Everybody.
Everyone did.
Yeah,
Everyone
I mean, Brian Flores may win Assistant Coach of the Year, but Kevin O'Connell deserves it.
And remember, these are regular season awards.
Yes.
So the playoffs, yes, they lost the last couple games, and that's kind of what everyone remembers. But for what he did with this team, I mean, you got to give him credit. And I think he, out of all these coaches that we've talked about, had the most impact on this team, on his team, that we can compare it to.
Yep.
So I think this is a great pick.
And I'll say for Comeback Player of the Year, so why is Joe Burrow eligible for this?
Well, he was hurt. Remember,
But how hurt? Like, how many games did he miss last year? I forget.
He did
his
something
wrist,
to his wrist.
That's right.
Because what's his name started a good bit of the game. I can't remember his name, but he was the backup. Everyone kind of.
I was looking at this. Obviously, I don't know who else it would be besides Joe Burrow. I was questioning why Sam Darnold. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be Joe Burrow because he should have been the MVP
should have been
this
the
year.
MVP if he had a better record. So yes.
So yeah.
And I'm happy that he'll get recognized for something this year because he had a really, really good year.
Yeah.
But I'd say this one was probably between Sam Darnold and Joe Burrow. I'm going with Burrow though. Like I said,
agree.
most yards, most touchdowns. If it wasn't for him, that team is
like
terrible.
4 or 5 wins.
They should have been in the playoffs. They lost some really stupid games because of their defense and maybe some coaching flaws.
Yep.
But Joe Burrow had a hell of a year.
Yep. And that's your awards.
Yeah.
NFL, change it, please, because this sucks.
Yeah, there's a lot of players that should be on this list and should get recognized.
The
more I think about it, the more I think you got to.
At some point,
you got to expand it a little bit.
Have to. This is, like I said, it's the NBA. Like we're picking awards for 11 different positions, like it's the NBA, and they all affect the game the same. It is stupid. It's so dumb, and I can't believe it's gone on this long, and no one's brought it up. None of the main analysts have ever mentioned this as like a thing. Why is this like such a new concept to me? Or to everybody? I genuinely, I don't know. I'm confused.
It might just be because no one talks about it. It's just always the same, and no one wants to change, and no one wants to.
Yeah.
But
everyone wants to have the same old conversations and debates. And I did bring it up last episode that maybe that's why they don't change it, because it sparks conversations like this. We wouldn't be talking about it if everyone that was deserving got an award. So maybe that's it.
When's the last time, though, that an MVP was not a quarterback?
It's been a fucking minute.
How long has it been?
It's been a minute. You might have to look that up because I genuinely cannot think of a time.
I'm sure it might be a little obvious.
I don't think it is.
I can't think of it right now.
I seriously.
Yeah.
In the last
decade.
Things up,
though, you guys, I should tell you. So the Atlanta Dream, you're right. They don't play where the Hawks play.
Really?
However, third game of the season, they play Caitlin Clark.
Let's go.
It's May 28th.
We're going.
And so we should totally go to that.
We're going. May 28th.
Let me look this up. Let me see when the last time an MVP was.
While you're doing that, we're going to go jump in straight to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl week, it's kind of a little sad. Because it is end of football for a long time.
Yeah.
If you're saying you're not going to watch the game, you're lying to yourself. You're going to turn it on Sunday. I don't care what you say.
Even if your stream doesn't get counted, wink, wink, you will be watching.
You will be watching.
You will be watching.
If you're not, you're lying. So, to the stat that we mentioned that has been going around, I know a lot of people have seen it, is Patrick Mahomes has his passing yard, behind the line of scrimmage, is the most, or they've been keeping track of it since 2016.
Yes.
And since 2016...
5 out of the last 6 seasons, Mahomes has been at the top.
5.
At the top.
Yes.
No. He led the league.
He was number 1.
Well, I know, but like,
since
2016, like he's number 1 for the most yards, and then he's like number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6.
But then, no. You break it down by season since then. He's at the top. And this is for passing yards behind the line of scrimmage. And for all the shit, you brought up a great point. For all the shit that Tom Brady got for being a check down merchant, where's the narrative here?
And if they've been keeping it since 2016, I know Mahomes didn't play till what? 2017 or 2018. So there were a good bit of years in there where they were both playing. And Patrick Mahomes, I didn't see Tom's name on that list.
No,
at least in the top 6 or top 5.
You did not.
It was only Mahomes, and I think Baker was like second.
Yes.
It was like Mahomes, Baker, Mahomes.
Yes, it was crazy. And so the other side of this, why this is so important, is Philly's defense was ranked first against such throws this year behind the line of scrimmage. So something's got to give, and I have no clue what's going to happen. I would assume that Andy Reid has some genius game plan put together,
he always does,
where they're going to trick the Eagles into thinking they have a ton of throws behind the line of scrimmage. It's going to be like a double screen pass or like a fake throw to a screen or behind the line of scrimmage, and then chuck it deep to Xavier Worthy somewhere. So regardless of what people say, it's going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be entertaining. I just, it's probably going to end with a hip drop tackle or a tush push, and people are going to be upset either way. So,
well, and another thing that looking at it, that something's going to have to give. The Chiefs have had a very good run defense all year.
Oh yeah,
and the Eagles have kind of relied very heavily on their run game.
There are
something
a lot
is
of
going
things
to give there as well. There
Yep.
are a lot of factors in this. They say the game within the game of what's really going to happen, and if the Eagles can run the ball the way they have been, like I'm sure they're going to try and want to establish, there's a good chance that they're going to be winning in this game for a majority of it if they can do that.
Yeah.
And then you could say, well, if Mahomes can do what he's been doing with all these passes and getting all this yak yardage, if the Eagles can't stop that like they have all year, then the Chiefs also have but if they do stop it, then there's a lot of storylines in this game. I think also the whole O-line of the Chiefs, that is something that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, that the D-line for the Eagles is...
don't worry though. They're going to get the penalties to help.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. There will be roughing the passers called.
You're probably right. And I know.
Don't worry.
And this it reminds me a little bit.
They're going to let Jawan Taylor start early on every snap. Don't worry. There will be no false starts called on him. Not one.
I hate that we even have to talk about this.
I think it's funny that the Kansas City Chiefs themselves are tired of talking about it, which is how you know it's a problem. Travis Kelce himself was asked at Super Bowl Media Day if he could have one question to ask the media, and he chose to ask, why are you guys leaning into this ref stuff so much? Geez, Travis, I fucking wonder why. I wonder, maybe because of everything that's happened this year that led to you guys getting to this point. That's just the simple option. That's the simple answer.
What I think is funny though is when you watch all the media questions. Roger Goodell, his press conference.
Oh, he got so asked, tight.
But when you listen to some of their responses, like, well, you know what? I mean, if they were cheating, like everybody would know.
Everybody does know. That's the funny part. We're all talking about it. We know, guys.
There was a book written in 1989 from an investigative reporter that showed over 70 NFL games that they shaved points, that were cheaters. They went to the quarterbacks. Again, not saying that's happening now, but when they say, well, everybody would know. Well, yeah, well, you don't know what one official may be doing. Because we've seen one play sometimes can affect a game or an outcome or a spread. So their responses to me were comical.
Oh,
the way that they
with sports betting being
as no big deal.
Yeah, with sports betting being as prominent as it is now, it's like,
and all this,
please,
they're all sponsored by all these leagues too. Like the NFL is sponsored by DraftKings and FanDuel and all. Like,
fucking save it, Travis. Fucking save it for the birds.
If you go back to the 1990s, though, they said something like 15 NFL owners had ties to gambling and the mafia and all this other stuff. I mean, it's always been about gambling. Yeah. So, guys, I looked this up on the MVP. So you got to know this. This literally is
a quarterback award.
This is a quarterback award.
Quarterback of the year.
I'll just go backwards. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, he went 2 in a row. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. 2012, we have a running back, Adrian Peterson.
Finally.
Then you go.
That was 12 in a row, by the way.
Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. And then for some reason, 2006 was a running back.
Sean Alexander.
Tomlinson, Sean Alexander running back. Then Peyton Manning, Steve McNair. I mean, it's a quarterback award.
Yep.
There's no.
So the last 25 years,
the NFL
there's been three non-quarterbacks,
and they're all fucking running backs. Back when running backs were the most important position, damn near, in like the beginning of the 2000s. it's a joke.
Well, now
it's a joke.
I wouldn't. So hold on though. So it's not a joke that the MVP is a quarterback.
No, it makes sense. It's a joke that's the award.
Yes,
and there's no other awards.
Yes, that's the argument. To where it's not a joke that the quarterback is the MVP because there's a good chance that the most valuable player in the league is going to be a quarterback.
Always.
But it's the fact that you can create other awards to acknowledge the seasons like we are seeing this year with Jamar Chase, Saquon,
one running
Burrow.
back, one receiver, one offensive lineman, one tight end. It's not that difficult.
No.
You don't end up, if you scrap the offensive player, like defensive player, the rookies of the year, the MVP, you end up with this damn near the same amount of awards anyways.
Yeah, on the same
day.
You're not.
The players look at the All-Pro award like such a big deal.
That's why my argument has always been that's why they do
and
that.
This would be higher than All-Pro. Like you would, like you brought up, you could use this. The All-Pros would be the finalists for this award.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like first team and second team, and then you choose. But then it's like what college does, you could name these awards after greats. The Jerry Rice Receiver of the Year.
Well,
like Barry Sanders Running Back of the Year. Tom Brady Quarterback of the Year.
Yeah.
Like there's so much shit you can do with this.
Yeah, a little bit like college. I know college has a lot.
Not as blown out of proportion.
There's
as
way more
college.
teams in college as well too. So there's
they
more
have to break
look
it down
at.
by conference too.
Yeah.
They have
it is that's the argument. Is it's not us being mad that the MVP is a quarterback.
No, it should be, but it shouldn't be called MVP.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows that's the most valuable player. You don't need to say
it's
that
no
every
question.
year.
No question. I mean, you can just go back and look at the Super Bowl winners and go, they had a really good quarterback.
Exactly.
So, I mean, the stat where it's like, well, either Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes has been in the AFC Championship game since 2002. There's a reason for that.
Yes.
Because the quarterback is just going to be the most important player on the field for a team, for good teams.
Yep.
So, but to finish out kind of the conversation about the Super Bowl, I again, like I said, you're gonna watch it. If you're not, you're gonna order pizza. You're gonna invite your friends over. That's just what's gonna happen.
Gonna watch the commercials.
You're gonna watch the commercials. Yep. I think the halftime show with Kendrick Lamar is gonna be great.
Incredible.
Not a lot of people like his music that he's come. I think he's a good showman.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be. That's gonna be great. So I am gonna watch that.
Everybody in that arena is gonna be calling Drake at you know what, and I can't fucking wait for it.
I think the halftime show is gonna be great. And him after winning 5 Grammys the other night.
Same amount that Drake has in his career.
I think he's going to put on a show. Someone doesn't like Drake very much.
No, I'm just joking. I'm a fan of both's music, but I think Kendrick fucking bodied him this past year.
Oh, I think Kendrick's, the songs he had this year were great. Another thing, before we wrap up the Super Bowl, I want to touch on, for our movie lovers out there. I know we love Marvel. We've got Marvel stuff all over the place. Did you happen to watch the Fantastic Four new trailer?
Yeah, so with Marvel, I'm in a weird position where it's like I'm in a show me kind of state of mind where it's like you guys have shit the bed since Endgame. Pretty much with everything you've done. You have made your franchise built for 10-year-olds. And realistically, when you started this, your niche, your target market was people in their 20s, people that grew up with the comics that they're now getting to see in live action.
Yeah.
Leave the cartoons for the kids. I would like to see a more serious tone like what DC's doing. Like the Penguin show and the Batman that just came out, perfect. That's the tone I want superheroes to be. That's you can have both. Just differentiate the two. And that's wait and see, because I feel like they could take a more serious tone, because Endgame had that tone. They kept that kind of serious underlying tone.
But still kept it fun and
every once in a while you had jokes that weren't forced, felt a part of the dialogue, just sarcasm that the average person would make a joke out of. Yeah. And it's not I don't know. It's
well, and
so,
it also it
corny.
It had 20 years in the making for that.
Yes.
So you felt like it was this just story coming to, and to me that's where Marvel has kind of lost some of their fans, is after Endgame, like you said, they haven't found a new identity after Tony Stark and after Captain America.
They tried to bring in 12 different characters with their own TV show and expect you to care the same.
Yeah, and
as a standalone movie with a bunch of build up and origin stories.
That was good.
Oh, it was
good. It was good for the nostalgic reason for what you said of us growing up with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, to where it was like it was awesome for me.
Good movie, yeah.
But fitting into the scheme of building a new story, the way Endgame, the way it was built up for Endgame,
yes,
didn't make too much sense.
No Way Home is an outlier in these movies after Endgame. That is one of the only ones that turned out pretty good, pretty damn good. I liked No Way Home a lot. But for the most part, they cut out.
Though? I mean, that was
the Volume 3 Guardians was good.
They have, since Endgame, they've made like 3 or 4 good projects.
And
Loki was good. Yes,
Loki was great.
Loki was great. WandaVision was good.
Yeah,
very good. What else? Spider-Man was good.
Echo was terrible. She-Hulk terrible. Deadpool, Wolverine, same, a little bit nostalgic. It was good.
I don't know about the rewatchability.
It was very funny.
For that.
The rewatchability for that movie might not be there, but that was good and okay.
Yeah.
No Way Home was good.
But
and
my
okay.
point is that they've come out with like 20 to 30 projects since Endgame, and that's like 80% of them are dog shit.
So that's the other thing that I was going to say too, is I'm happy that they're going
back down
to. I think there's only 2 or 3 coming out this year.
Good. That's how it should be.
That's I think I said it to you.
Well, yeah, we went to every single premiere.
Well, we still do. We still do.
We still do.
Like the new.
But how you can't go to all of them now? There's so darn many.
Yeah. Well, but now like the Captain America comes out, I think on Valentine's Day. So that one I've heard that will be good. But my thing is, I told you, is I would rather have 1 or 2 Marvel movies a year. No, they're gonna be good, well timed. Not rushed.
Yes.
I would rather have that than have 5 a year or 6 a year, the way it kind of has been.
The other thing is, like, this is definitely something to do with just people's attention spans, but they cut out way too much of these movies to try and create, like, a movie that's under 2 hours to just hope they don't lose the focus of their audience. That's bullshit. You can make a good 3-hour movie. The Batman is literally an example of that. It's 3 hours and I was not bored the entire time. I'm on the edge of my seat, loving it. Same with the Penguin. 8-hour-long episodes. Every single one is good. So it's like, yeah, we got the attention span for it if you just fucking work hard on it and make it a good story.
Another movie, I don't know if you've seen it, but Wicked. Wicked was almost 3 hours, and it was a fantastic
and that's
movie.
Literally until the intermission. That's not even the full movie.
Yeah,
that's half of it.
That's half of it. The other half is coming out this year because they filmed them back to back.
Yep.
So if you make quality stuff and quality films,
people will watch.
People will watch it.
I feel like, that is just, it's become way too much of a point of emphasis to make movies under 2 hours long when these Marvel movies, literally, like, in their past have always been 2.5 hours.
Yeah, they need that time.
They need it. Yes, you're cutting so much important shit out. And it just makes me feel like, as I'm watching the movie, my best example is Doctor Strange. The second one. That movie fucking sucks. Like, it's really bad. And it's like, it jumps all over the place. And you can tell almost where they skipped parts out. Because it goes from one scene to the other, and it's like there wasn't any buildup.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
We will see. I think it's gonna be very telling because I think they have heard feedback of hey, we need to kind of change, we need to do. So we'll see with the new Captain America. I know Fantastic Four is coming out in July, and then I don't know when the last one is in December-wise, but I think their plan is to come out with 3 this year, which I'm totally fine with.
The third one?
I can't remember.
I do know, but it's Captain America,
Fantastic Four, and then
I'm blanking.
And then I don't know when the last one is.
The Daredevil
Avengers,
show.
Secret Wars, Doomsday.
The Daredevil show comes out this year.
Does it
the
come
new
out?
one, Daredevil Born Again.
Okay.
So
and that's
2 movies in one show. That's fine.
Yeah,
And that's not, like, they're not rebooting that. That's a continuation of the story.
That's next month.
The Daredevil show?
Yep,
yes.
Next month.
So that's your 3.
Okay.
I think. I don't think they have anything planned for the back half of the year.
Yeah.
Good on you, Marvel.
Good.
This shows promise.
It shows you're listening to your fans that care so much about this stuff.
And you're not just caring about money and pushing out half-assed projects that will make money regardless.
And then knowing that, people are going to go watch it regardless. Doesn't matter if it's quality or not. They're just going to complain. And
well, when Disney gets their hands on stuff, though, you guys,
they
Disney
ruin everything.
Kind of wrecked Star Wars.
They go woke.
And now they've, it's kind of happening. I mean, they're trying to make money.
They are.
A lot of bills.
Unfortunately.
They are.
Unfortunately.
How can we make the same story, but make it just different enough with different characters to where people won't catch on until the 3rd movie?
Or until they are home and go, damn, that was really similar
that
to
was just like episode 5.
All the other ones.
They were on a snow planet.
They blew it up. They had to escape off of it really fast.
Wow.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
Sounds like
I just watched the same
I
thing.
just watched the same thing with different.
And I paid money for it.
Yeah. But yeah, we kind of took a little detour there to wrap up the Super Bowl now, though. To go into our bets in the week.
Our last one.
We're doing a little bit different because I know we kind of mentioned last week. Me and Austin Gunny is his nickname.
You're tied.
We are tied. So in order to eliminate,
think about that. Have you done the math on how many picks that is?
It's about, I mean, it's probably between all the
80.
players, 80s. It's probably about 100 picks between the whole season of player props and all the games and stuff.
And you're tied.
And we're tied.
You're in a dead tie.
We're in a dead tie.
To where we have to do this.
Yeah, so this is kind of why we're doing this. We are going to do a player prop, point total, winner, and final score to avoid any tiebreaker scenario.
If you guys tie
can
still...
you just invite him down to Georgia? Let's get the golf clubs out. Let's hit balls over our house.
Yeah.
I think
how many
should be
windows are
the
you going to
tiebreaker.
replace? I don't think that's a good idea.
Probably not.
So my bet of the week, I'm riding with the Tush Push, baby. Jalen Hurts anytime Tush Push touchdown. That's what I'm going with.
Rushing
I hope it
touchdown.
happens to win the game in the fourth quarter. So yes, Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. I'm going to go. My score of the game is going to be 27-24. I've got the Chiefs winning, which would put my game total at 51 points.
Okay. Damn, taking the Tush Push touchdown, but then picking the Chiefs to win.
I can't bet against Mahomes. He falls in the same category as Tom Brady. Been saying it all year.
Well, if you're not going to do it, that means I can. So Saquon Barkley, anytime touchdown, doesn't matter how he gets it, he's going to score at least once.
Yeah.
54 points total, not much different than you, but 30-24 Eagles. And I think that final play, 23-24, is a Tush Push touchdown.
I'm hoping for the Tush Push.
Let's hope.
And again, like
Sorry, Jerry.
Eagles fans,
Really hope.
we want you to win.
This is best case scenario, guys. This is how America wins.
I think I could speak for
America
everyone.
would have won with a Bills Commanders Super Bowl. This is how we win now.
And I said it back to some comments. I think I could speak for every non-Chiefs fan.
We want this.
God forbid we have to see fucking Taylor Swift celebrating in confetti,
getting
a
proposed to by Travis Kelce.
So, dear
and then
God,
Travis Kelce
please.
getting on the mic and saying, "We're coming back for 4, baby. We're coming back for 4." Shut the fuck up.
Okay, you guys didn't talk about because wouldn't that just be precious if that was the ending? But have we didn't talk about the Pro Bowl? Like how cool would it be? What if we would have gotten the Bills and the Commanders on Pro Bowl day, the week before the Super Bowl?
Oh, I did see that post.
To have like a third place team, but just to have a game we really wanted to see instead of some of the other stuff.
Like a losers bracket game. I saw that post you're talking about. It was someone saying, "Yeah, scrap the Pro Bowl. Let's have the losers of the conference championship games play the week before the Super Bowl."
That would be a game I would watch.
It'd be
I
funny,
would watch it. That would be awesome.
It'd be. I mean,
And then you have players tearing their ACLs and are out until like October of next year. That would not work.
That won't work.
Just get rid of the Pro Bowl. It
yes,
sucks anyways.
I speak for everyone. No one wants to see Taylor Swift celebrating with confetti. Nobody wants to, unless you're a Chiefs fan. So I think
there are some Chiefs fans that want to see
we
that
can
shit.
all come together and fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory.
Let's go. EAGLES, Eagles! Go Birds, baby! Let's fucking go!
So yes, Super Bowl, we hope everyone enjoys it. You're going to watch it, like I said.
Yes.
Don't be that guy who sits in his fucking basement and watches a TV show over the Super Bowl. Order some pizza, or invite your friends over, have a good time, and hopefully we're all happy by the end of the night. One way or another, I think it will, oh well.
Yeah.
We'll all move on, and the draft will be up, and we'll...
The new league year starts March 12th, so look forward to free agency and, the draft, and then
the
training
draft
camp.
And everything, and then we're back on the same cycle.
The Bears are back, baby.
Same cycle as always. Well, thank you guys again. Episode 7.
27?
27,
Whoa.
not 7. 27. Don't forget, social media... Comment on all our stuff. We got a lot of good comments this past week.
Follow. Give these guys a follow.
And
like the video,
like
dude.
the
We
video.
work fucking hard
Also,
on this shit,
hey,
guys.
our short clip that we took from our main clip and posted on YouTube have performed pretty well.
Yes.
So we will continue
People
to do
like those
that.
short clips.
People like the short clips, and I'm happy they do. So I'm more than willing to make those and do those to kind of cut up the long segment into a shorter long segment that we can't fit in all the clips, but we can kind of make it, like 7-10 minutes of some of these conversations.
Perfect.
So yes, give us a follow. Look out for more of those, and we will see you guys next time. Super Bowl. Let's go.
Yep. It's been real, guys.